When we spoke to a local yesterday, we were telling them our sort of loose plans, perhaps to stay somewhere in Grange. His response, he was about our age, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His response was, you don't want to go there, that's just full of old people. He was quite keen in the end for us to stay anywhere other than Grange.
It's lovely, it's very nice, but it's just full of old people. There's not much to do. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Lovely old
gorgeous little old shops. Yeah. Daisy Roots books. Love it. Traditional Turkish barbers there. They're popping up all over the place. We have one of those in Weston. Community food store, coffee house, curiosity shop. Can't see any people cockling, if that's such a word.
Cockling?
Yeah. I waved to him and he responded, which is nice. I like it when people do that. Be friendly. And it's funny the different reactions when you get the camera pointing at people. Some people look down, that's probably what I would do. Although I'm getting a bit more cocky now, just smile and wave. Like good old Madagascar.
Nah, just smile and wave, boys.
Smile and
smile
wave.
And wave.
Ah, so this is a nice little quiet spot.
Yeah, north of Morecambe.
Very nice.
I think we found a back road into Morecambe, hugging the coast.
We are coming into Morecambe. For me, it marks the end of a special stretch of our coast trip. You may disagree, but the last time we were in a place like this was back on the east coast at Scarborough. Although many of the places in between are holiday destinations, they are not in the same league as Morecambe, Scarborough and many other seaside towns that have taken these kind of resorts to the next level. Indeed, we live in one such place ourselves, Weston-super-Mare. Sadly, with the passage of time, these resorts have garnered a reputation for being run down and tacky. I can understand this, but my advice is to spend a bit of time in these places and you'll soon find something to appreciate, such as the long sweeping promenades, seafront terraces and the bracing sea breezes. Funnily enough, the very things the Victorians were drawn to.
Morecambe is a relatively modern place. Like many British seaside towns, it didn't really exist until the Victorian era. Before then, ordinary people lived and worked in scattered smaller communities and rarely ventured beyond. The Industrial Revolution changed all that, initially by the movement of people into larger population concentrations around the centres of production like Manchester. Their employers had a reputation as hard taskmasters, but mostly still respected and observed Sundays as a day of rest, a holy day. The railways that were originally built to move the raw materials they needed and to get the things they made to markets became a means for the workers to get places themselves. What started as a Sunday outing soon turned into longer periods as many employers accepted the need and benefits of allowing even more free time for their workers. Eventually, the holy day became what we now, at least in Great Britain, call holidays.
Oh, can we let the bikes?
Yeah. The bikes, let the bikes, let the bikes through.
Oh dear.
Morecambe's tourism was thriving in the mid-1900s. While the resort of Blackpool attracted holidaymakers predominantly from the Lancashire mill towns, Morecambe, due to its railway connection, had more visitors from Yorkshire and Scotland. Mill workers from Bradford and further afield in West Yorkshire would holiday and even retire here. This gave Morecambe the nickname Bradford-on-Sea.
Since the 1970s, like many other large resorts, Morecambe has struggled to maintain its appeal as holidaymakers look to new experiences. Even during the Depression of the 1930s, Morecambe was able to sustain itself comfortably and in 1936 opened the Super Stadium swimming pool at a cost of £130,000. The stadium featured a championship swimming course, water polo area, diving stage, grandstands, promenade, a sun terrace and even an artificial beach. The majestic pool was the longest in Europe and once welcomed 27,000 bathers in just 2 days. This impressive complex perhaps most notably hosted the Miss Great Britain Beauty Contest. Although the swimming pool was still popular, in 1975 the local council announced its closure and a year later it was completely demolished on the pretext of being unsafe and the site was left abandoned. In 1991, a much smaller pool complex, Bubbles, was opened along with a music arena locally called the Dome. Bubbles lasted just 10 years before the council decided it wasn't worth supporting. The Dome, which had successfully hosted the likes of the Arctic Monkeys, Oasis and Blur, eventually succumbed to a similar fate in 2010 and was demolished in 2011. Remnants of Bubbles and even some of the earlier buildings, such as the open-air bandstand, can still be seen today. In a cruel twist, the site has been decorated with reminders of its once glorious past. The latest plan is to build an Eden project. I'll refrain from saying what I think of this latest idea, but suffice to say, it seems the high water mark for this site was reached way back with the original swimming complex. You only have to look at those places that resisted or couldn't afford to demolish their lidos to see just how popular these beautiful recreational areas are. In recent years, there have been numerous organisations and community groups that have saved dozens of outdoor pools from permanent decline.
If the story of this part of Morecambe wasn't sad enough, I'm afraid it only gets worse. Over the years it has lost 2 piers. West End Pier, whose length had been reduced by several gales over the years, was hit again by a storm in 1977 and demolished the following year. Central Pier, already damaged by several fires over the years, was eventually removed in 1992. And in 1994, the World of Crinkly Bottom attraction closed only 13 weeks after opening, when projected visitor numbers did not materialise. The ensuing fallout between Lancaster City Council and TV star Noel Edmonds became known as Blobbygate and led to a legal battle costing North Lancashire taxpayer £2.6 million. There are several other examples including Marineland and Frontierland, but I think we'll stop there.
On the left.
Oh wow, yeah. Winter Gardens. Oh,
Yeah.
that's lovely.
And your little fun fair on
And
the
your
right.
garden and fun fair and your war memorial. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice.
Cooper's Amusements. And the train station.
Yeah, and an Art Deco hotel.
Oh dear, I'm switching the
Look at
camera
that.
all over the place.
Midland Hotel in the Art Deco style. Very nice.
I know we've gone on a bit, but we can't leave Morecambe without mentioning perhaps its most famous and well-loved son, John Eric Bartholomew. Do you know who I mean? He is of course much better known by his stage name, Eric Morecambe, that, you guessed it, he took from his hometown. He was a comedian and entertainer best known for his double act with Ernie Wise. Together they were simply known as Morecambe and Wise, a legendary household name. Their partnership lasted from 1941 until Morecambe's death in 1984.
Patient ferry. I wonder where the ferry goes to. Presumably Ireland? Maybe Isle of Man?
Before the coming of the railway, it wasn't even called Morecambe. It was the small fishing village of Poulton. Poulton simply combines 2 Old English words, pole and ton, meaning pool and settlement or enclosure, i.e. settlement by the pool. There have been at least 16 towns and villages called Poulton in the United Kingdom. This wasn't a problem when people stayed in the same place, but as they started to move around, Poulton and many other places that shared the same name added suffixes to distinguish themselves from the others. Poulton became Poulton-le-Sands. Our own town became Super-Mare, based on the French sur la mer, meaning on the sea.
Great place to have a house.
Yeah.
What a lovely year all that.
Yeah. Very old English postcardish. Nice beachfront terraces.
Look at the number plate on the Mercedes to our left. GBA. Great British Biking Adventures.
Oh, bless you. Great colour Mercedes as well.